Welcome to Gardening with Miss Kari. Let's begin with our movements. Let's all stand up and become seeds that are under the ground by touching our toes. And then we're going to grow above the land into sprouts. And then we're going to reach for the sun to become plants. Today our sign is the number 3 because this is our third gardening video. We did the number 1, which is our pointer finger facing towards us. We did the number 2, which is also the letter V if you point it away from you. But the number 2 if it is your palm is facing towards you. Do you remember? So everybody do this with me. Everybody should have the number 2. Go like this for the letter V. And do you guys remember from our last video what that means also? Yes, V for victory, or the peace sign, right? When it's faced towards us, it's the number 2. And when I put out my thumb, people think it's the sign for the letter W, but it's not. When you put out your thumb, that is the number 3 in American Sign. So we've got 1, 2, 3 with our thumb. So this is our third video, and we are going to continue talking about all the things that plants need using our acronym L.A.W.N. The first thing is going to be light that we talk about today. The letter L in our L.A.W.N. acronym stands for light. We're going to focus on that. So there's many things about light that plants need. The main thing is that's how they get their energy, through a process called photosynthesis. When the light shines on the plant, it turns that sunlight into energy. Now, sometimes you can use artificial light. It's just really hard to get artificial light as bright as the sun. The sun is so bright, that's why we can't look at it, because it'll actually harm our eyes because it's so bright. And that is why it's the most efficient type of light for plants to get their energy. And how they do that is the process of photosynthesis, where they turn that light into, through a chemical process, into glucose, which is that sugar that we talked about in another video. We like sugar too. Plants like it also. So that's the main way plants use light. But I also want to talk about not all plants, as you probably noticed from your nature walk, like the same amount of light. Some are fine in the shadows, some like it inside your house with hardly any light at all. For those of you who want a plant inside but are worried that you don't know how to take care of one, spider plants and snake plants are really great choices for you because they need so little. You can pretty much put them anywhere. They're fine with a lot of light or no light. All plants need a little bit of light, except for maybe moss. Moss can do with very little light. But they are really great hardy plants. And I actually have a spider plant here in the garden that I'll show you here in a second. But as you've noticed through your walks, some plants do quite well in the shadows. They just don't need as much light. They get their nutrients and the different things that they need in other ways, besides just the light. But plants that need a lot of light, for example, would be all the flowering plants. They like a lot of light. And if you notice that you bought a beautiful flowering plant at a store and then you brought it home, and then all the, the flowers they're not going to live for a long time. They're just there to attract the pollinating animals and insects to spread their seeds, which we'll talk about in another video. And then the flowers go away. And then the next time you'll keep that plant. You prune off the flowers, and sometimes if you prune off the dead flowers, more flowers will grow. And then the next season comes around and you got this big beautiful plant and you've been taking really good care of it, but it doesn't flower anymore. You'll notice this especially with orchids that you bring inside. It's like, it still looks really healthy, but where are all the flowers? And that's because it's not getting enough light. Flowering plants need a lot of light. And vegetables and fruits are flowering plants. Those little flowers that you see on your strawberries and your squashes, those are what turn into your vegetables and your fruits. So if you don't give your vegetable and your fruits enough light, which is usually a minimum of 12 hours a day, they won't produce any of your flowers or your fruits. They might be a big, beautiful plant, but they need a lot of light in order to produce that flower first, and then the fruit. So how do I get my plants enough light? Here in Pacific Grove, where it's kind of foggy, it's important to place your gardens in a location where they're not going to just get light, but they're going to get as much light as they can during the day. And those locations are going to be your south-facing locations. So if you face your body south, then that's where you want to put your windows for your houses. That's where you're going to get the most light during the day, and also your gardens, because they're going to get the most light during the day, and therefore have those beautiful flowers and those beautiful fruits that we really like to grow. So here in the garden, I'm going to take you for a tour here in a second. You'll see that a lot of the places that have their pots facing the south is where I put a lot of my fruits and vegetables and flowers. And then the plants that are more plants that I really I'm growing them more for looks or for textures. I can put them in my north facing, where they're not going to need as much light. And then my plants that really don't need much light at all, I can put in my north facing western corner of my garden, because that's the very least amount of sun. So the first place is south facing, and in California it's really easy to find south, because you just need to orient yourself to where the ocean is. And Miss Kari knows that the ocean is that way. I can hear it, and I know that the ocean is that way, so it makes it very easy. So if I face towards the ocean, I know I'm facing west. So then from there, I know that behind me, if I go like turn around, 180 turn around, I know I'm now facing east. And once I have my west and my east, I now can figure out, I can go look up. And if I look up along the coast towards San Francisco and Santa Cruz, and I look up my state, California runs really long, so I always think of north as up at the top of my state, then that is going to be the north. So if I'm facing the north, this is the side of my house and my garden who's going to get the least amount of light, is my north facing, especially in the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere, it's a little bit different. So then, if this is north, hope you're standing up. Let's face south. How do I find south? If this is north, and facing towards the ocean is west, and behind me, opposite of west, is east. If I'm facing north, where's south? Right? 180 turn, and there's south. If I look down towards Mexico and Central America, then that is south, and that is the direction. If I'm heading that direction, that's the direction that's going to get the most light, because our sun travels starts in the east, and it goes over our heads and sets in the west. And for us, that's our Pacific Ocean. If we go to our ocean, we can look to the west and see our sun setting and know that we're facing west. It really makes it really easy to help orient ourselves to that. Okay, so let's take a little tour of the garden so I can show you my south-facing plant.